Okay, so now it's time to have a look at config.php. If you open inc folder and open the config.php file, first thing we need to do is to create the opening and closing PHP tag. And now we're going to check whether the specific constant has already been defined, because we're going to be creating constants which we'll use widely inside of our application. So whether it's defined first, and the constant name will be ds, which is directory separator, question mark if it's defined, null, otherwise define ds constant, which will be directory separator. Okay. What it does basically, directory separator is depending on what kind of system you are. You're on Windows, Linux, Unix, whatever. They've got different separators. For instance, on Windows you use backslashes for paths. On Linux you use forward slashes and so on. So this is this actually directory separator automatically recognizes which one it is, and it will assign it to our ds constant, which we'll be able to reuse later on. Okay, so we've got our directory separator. Then let's check whether the constant called root path is defined. If it is, return null. Otherwise, define root path. And our root path will be starting with our directory separator dot and the name of the folder, then directory separator, then dot again, and the name of the folder. Now, how can we find out what's our root path? Root path will be the path to our folder. In this case, it's gallery tutorial. So, how to do it? You can do it simply by creating a file called phpinfo.php, and inside of this file, put something like that. Our function called phpinfo. And close a PHP tag. Just this line will return actually all of the information about the server and so on. So if you've got this in the file, load it to the server, and if you call this file in the server, you get something like this. As you can see, I'm testing this on the local server, but I'm working actually on the side on the remote server. But just to show you actually how the file what the file look like and where you can find the path, if you scroll down, you can see script file name under the Apache environment. So script file name is the path to the file which you are currently viewing, phpinfo. So the path for me would be volume, storage, sites, other, tutorials, gallery. This is my root. So in this case, all I need to do is to put it here in our file. So we've got directory separator, it will be / in my case, volumes, then we've got storage, then we've got another ds, sites, another ds, and other ds, tutorials, ds, and gallery. And that's what my root path will look like. Obviously, depending on what your server is built like, you will have a different path and so on. So you have to obviously check it in this phpinfo information and simply put it here. Now, next one will be define. Oh no, this is fine. Fine, okay. Now define, checking with defined. We've got gallery path constant. If it is, return null. Otherwise, return define our constant. Let's copy it. Gallery path. The gallery path will be simple photos. Now copy the entire thing, paste it under gallery path thumb for thumbnail, and it's going to be thumb, lowercase thumb, but before that we're going to have gallery path So it's going to be gallery path.ds.thumb. Okay, next thing is the max upload file size. So it's going to be define what is defined max upload file size. If it is null, otherwise define the name of the constant, and the max file size will be 2097152, which is 2 megabytes. Okay, then we have defined thumb width, okay, null, otherwise define thumb width, which will be 100 pixels, just 100 here. Okay, then we're gonna have height and large width. So thumb height, which will be 66, and the last one will be large width, which large image, the widest, the longest edge should have no more than 600 pixels. Okay, so we've got our config file ready. Now we can go back to our images, and in the next video we're going to use some of those constants in order to provide the paths to our images and so on.